ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः. So we are still trying to introduce Viveka Chudamani. So Viveka Chudamani is a text which is subject matter of which is what is called Vedanta. What is Vedanta? That which is at the end of the Vedas, locationally. So, and the way there's a reason why you say Vedanta and Veda. Suppose I have a book. I don't call it Boo and K. Right? There's a book. It's not Boo and K. So why Veda and Vedanta separation? There must be a reason. At the same time, while Vedanta is treated separately from Veda, yet it is an undeniable part of the Veda. The whole Veda is one. Vedanta is at the end of the Veda. All right. So Vedanta has something to say to me, which really is what the Veda also wants to say to me. Yet it can be missed. In fact, without Veda and Vedanta, one can live and go. It is, what is a Veda? An extra means of knowledge. An additional means of knowledge. Addition to what? Addition to what every human being has at its disposal. What do we have at our disposal? Perception, inference, single step or multi-step inference. These are the primary means of knowledge we have. We count two more. One is called comparison, upama. So if I want to tell you about something, I can give you a comparative way of looking at things. You know, you are traveling to Indonesia to see an orangutan. You don't know what an orangutan is, but you know what a monkey is. You know what a gorilla looks like. You know what a human being is. It's somewhere in between. I can give you some idea. That's called upama, a comparison. So when you go to Indonesia, when you visit a forest and you see an orangutan, you might say, oh, this must have been what Swami told me about. It's not that you didn't know what is orangutan, but it's not that you understood fully what orangutan meant. Because there is another creature like it, I could give you a comparison and you could make sense out of it. Correct? There is one more means of knowledge. So perception, 5 means of perception is 1. Single step inference is called anumana, technically. Multi-step inference is called arthapatti. Upama is comparison. All right. And then we have something called anupalabdhi. Just to complete the topic, okay? Means of knowledge. There are 5. 4 are done. Which is the 5th one? It's called anupalabdhi. Means what? Non-availability. So you put on the switch, but there is no light. How do you know there is no light? Don't say because I see darkness. Okay. You see darkness, therefore you know there is darkness. That is called perception. All right. You open a tap. and there is no water. You cannot see the absence of water. If you can see the absence of water, why don't you also see the absence of oil? You know, absence of some fluids. You can see the absence of anything there, right? You come home, you open the door, and you find I'm not there. You don't see only my absence, you see the absence of cockroaches, mosquitoes, everything you can see. Therefore, Anupalabdhi is taken as another means of knowing. It's a technical matter. We don't have to worry too much. Main thing is what all of us accept. Pratyaksha, perception, and inference. Now, Veda is what? One more means of knowledge. And what's a means of knowledge? It must have a distinct, unique sphere of operation. You cannot have two means of knowledge operating in the same sphere. It's impossible. If there are two, then the question is which is right? If the two don't agree. You know, even though you might use two means of knowledge to know one fact, it does not mean the two have the same sphere of operation. You can tell a mango by looking at it. You can tell the mango by smelling it. You can tell the mango by tasting it. But the three are independent means of knowledge. Within perception, there are three independent things. So without resorting to smelling it, I can tell it's a mango by looks. That's what a pramana means. Means independent. What's the proof of a means of knowledge? It itself is the proof. You do not need a second thing to corroborate one means of knowledge. What one means of knowledge has to prove itself. Any means of knowledge proves itself. How do you prove it? Use it. Using a means of knowledge is the only way to prove a means of knowledge. Okay. So Veda is one more means of knowledge. How do you prove it? Use it. That's the only way. You cannot tell, I think Veda is against my perception. If it is against your perception, then Veda is not a means of knowledge. Because two things cannot have a common sphere of operation. All right? We've seen this much. Then we saw what is the Vedic vision of life. We were looking at it. We have not yet completed that part. But I said the Vedic vision is all that is here is Ishvara. Right? And in that context, we were exploring a little more of what is Ishvara. And we saw that Ishvara, like the whole world, forget Ishvara, what you see as the world is your knowledge. What you see as the world is your knowledge of the world. If you know only so many things, that's all you will see as the world. Right? Each of us, though we are all looking at the same world, we all look at the world in our own unique way. Right? So that world, though common, is unique to each of us. Actually, we are all looking at our own worlds. We are not looking at a common world entirely. That's the reality. So, although, we say we are all looking at the same world, really it is our knowledge of the world. And the world that we see, our knowledge is what? Our knowledge is what we found out about the world. Right? So as children, as we grow up, you were told, look at this, red. Red. You show me a red shirt, then you show me a red toy, then you show me a red fruit, then you keep tomato, red. So what do I understand? Red means this color. Suppose all my caretakers were colorblind and they called green red. That's what I would take as red, by the way. But that is what you understand as red. What you're told as red, you make a name and with that an association of a sense. That's all you know as red. Right? This is the way we learn knowledge. Therefore, our knowledge is all gained from observing the world alone. It's not that you got knowledge from heaven. The knowledge you have is gained by observation of what is. So you observed a red flower and you say it's red. But who made the flower red? What is the flower? Why is the flower the way it is? Who designed the flower? That's also knowledge. If you need a designer to make a simple fabric or a dress today, big profession, dress designer. What is big deal about designing a dress? But there is something big about it. And when Christmas is coming, they have to design what kind of dresses they will have this year. Otherwise, they won't sell. It's a big deal. So you design everything. And what is designing? It's your knowledge. Now, if this whole world is available, what should it be? It is knowledge. And I said, therefore, what is Ishvara? If he is the maker of the world, if all that is here is Ishvara, what is Ishvara? It is all knowledge. And not the sum total of all our knowledges. It is all knowledge means it is all knowledge manifest or unmanifest. Okay? That is what Ishvara is. Then there was and I said, all knowledge means it is perfect. Nothing is wrong with it. That's exactly how it would be. Why? Because small knowledge I can make an error. All knowledge there is no possibility of a mistake. And there was a question towards the end last time. But then, if everything is perfect, then it means that we just have to accept everything. That is not the idea. I want to make that very clear. That when we say all knowledge means it is perfect, it means it's like this. There are many variables moving, okay? At a given point of time, there is only one solution for a set of simultaneous equations, right? Suppose you take two equations, x plus y is equal to 10, okay? And x minus y is equal to 3. If you try to solve these two equations, there can be only one value for x and y. It will not work any other way. Both equations should be satisfied. In school we used to have this problem. If the father is 2 times the age of the son today, and if he was 10 years older than the son 5 years ago, then tell me both their ages. You have to solve two problems. You have to make two equations, and you have to now solve the problem in such a way that the son's age and the father's age, there'll be only one age where both these situations now and 10 years ago would fit in exactly. This is called solving multiple equations to get a single solution for each variable involved in the equation. Now, you look at the whole universe, it's like a billion or countless variables, but one solution. The whole universe is like one solution to a infinite number of equations. And that solution is unique at any instant in time. And that is what I mean by saying it's perfect as it is. It cannot be different. But then there is dynamism in the equations. Variables are allowed to change. And therefore, every moment, the equation and the solutions can keep changing. But there is only one solution at a given point in time. What is the use of seeing this? The use of seeing it this way, the benefit of it is that you don't resist a fact. The idea of saying Ishvara is, perfect. So Swamiji's way of saying it is what? See, normally one way of saying is the infallible is Ishvara. Or Ishvara is infallible. Is there a difference between the two? What is infallible, by the way, in case the word is not understood? That which cannot be erroneous. Fall, fall. Chuti, no fall. Achyuta, no falling. Means no error, no mistake. All right. So what is fallible? That which can fall. What is infallible? that which can never fail, never fall. It's a fact, means it is fact, right? Suppose I say Ishvara is infallible, then people make an assumption of what Ishvara should do. If I pray to Ishvara, he should give me what I ask for. If he doesn't give, he failed. So if I say Ishvara, you know, Ishvara is infallible, they will prove me wrong and say Ishvara is fallible. Possibility. Therefore, the equation, Swami, you put it the other way around. The infallible is Ishvara. What does it mean? It means that what is Ishvara. You don't question why it is. You have to understand what is. You cannot say there's a problem in it. How it is, it's the way it is. You have a possibility of bringing about change. That's what Ishvara is. So to know that Ishvara is perfect, to understand that is to mean that when I say all that is here is Ishvara, the whole world is a manifestation of Ishvara. That's what it really means. Then there is nothing flawed about it right now. If I say there is a cyclone expected, don't go out fishing, the fishermen don't go out fishing unless they want to risk their lives. You don't try to say, I will tame the sea. It doesn't work. Right? You can't change the sea. The sea will be what it is. There's a flood. You can't change it. The sun is going to be burning hot. It's going to be 50 degrees Celsius. Sunstroke possibilities exist. You stay indoors. You cover yourself. You don't go about and saying, how will the sun be hot? It doesn't work that way. You don't argue with a fact. You don't argue with a 10-ton truck rolling down your way. You move away. Which means when you see situations in life, if you recognize them for what they are, then you can objectively respond to them. Okay. So this is one way of looking at Ishvara as all knowledge. All right. And we saw by looking at it that way, we can also understand Ishvara better by dividing the knowledge into different spheres. So we can see that the knowledge of physics we have, if we say, that there is a law of inertia, or you have a simple relation, V is equal to U plus AT, some equation like that. S is equal to ut plus half at square. Something is coming, okay? Long ago in school, you studied these. What is acceleration? What is velocity? What is speed? What is distance? How do you compute? You have a formula. That formula always works, right? It always works. Why? Because that's a fact. And therefore, physics is a manifestation of Ishvara. It's a fact. Chemistry is a manifestation of Ishvara. It's a knowledge, Biology is a manifestation of Ishvara. Within biology, genetics is a manifestation of Ishvara. Anthropology is a manifestation. So every field of knowledge becomes what? A manifestation of Ishvara. So what are you studying when you study? You are studying Ishvara. All knowledge, all disciplines of study become the study of Ishvara. But even with all your study, you will not understand Ishvara completely because knowledge is continuously unraveling. There is so much unmanifest, and manifestation is going on as we speak. What is manifest becomes unmanifest. What is unmanifest becomes manifest. Did you know there'll be an M5 chip coming on Mac? It became manifest recently. It became manifest recently. It can next year something else will become manifest. When you don't know, something will become manifest. This is in human realm, okay? But some island which was not manifest becomes manifest. A star which is not manifest becomes manifest. The whole universe is constantly changing. Okay. Therefore, to understand Ishvara, we will see more of this as we go. This is just a kind of a trailer, okay? Right now. It's not the movie. Movie we'll see later. So now, this Veda, the whole Veda is a means of knowledge. And its vision is all that is here is Ishvara. This much I have said so far. Okay? Now we go a little further. If the Veda, now what do you take yourself as? Without any Veda, we live in this world, we're born, we have a certain self-identity, we have a certain understanding of the world. What is our understanding of our world and of ourselves? How do we look at ourselves? Do I look at myself as one among many or not? There are so many more like me. I am one among many. Correct? And the world, am I part of the world? Am I opposed to the world? Am I competing with the world? Or am I fitting into the world? Do I see the world as something which I have to compete? Compete for resources, compete for attention, compete for love, compete for everything. Correct? How do I look at myself as an individual? What is your identity? Where do you and where does the world begin? What is it that I call I? Does it go beyond, extend beyond the skin? Suppose I showed like this. I is here, I is here. In between, is there I or not? Nasti. I doesn't exist there also. Where does it exist? Only here. If there's a minor gap, I doesn't exist there. Correct? That's our understanding. And we are fighting for the same resources, same jobs, same seats, same business. Right? If you have to make more money by selling one thing, if I have the same product, I will lose money. Generally. Or I have to know how to grow the cake. You just don't divide the cake. You expand the cake and now you get a bigger share of it. Good. But how much can you expand the cake? Finally, how do people in marketing look at things? You look at it. This is the total customer base. Okay, I'm looking at high net worth individuals. How many are there? Okay, this is the number of people. Among them, who are the ones I'm going to look at now? I mean, you find your own sectors to deal with, right? Are you not looking at the world? You look at the world in your own way. For a banker, it's a people who are customers for the bank. For a high net worth professional, they're only looking for high net worth individuals, whatever their definition is. They should have an investable surplus of 1 crore plus. You're looking at something like that. But I'm saying you're looking at the world through your lens. You say, this much is me, right? And then you're trying to now expand and get things from others. So you're competing. Competition is unavoidable. Unavoidable. Conflict is also therefore unavoidable. That's the world we live in today. Right? This is me. There's the world. How does this world operate? Is there any predictability to it? Physics give me predictability or physical sciences. Therefore, you know what? I can get up, I can lift my foot, and I know I can set it down. We take it for granted. If you're in space, you would have to learn how to walk in space because you cannot walk in space like this. You will float. Suppose you want to eat some peanuts. You throw like this. What will happen? They'll be floating. In zero gravity, they won't go into your mouth. You have to have a way of putting it in your mouth. That we accept. Correct? We accept that. What about people's behavior? Is it predictable? Not predictable by me, but is it predictable? Is there a science to it? Yes, there is a science to it. Right? But I'm saying, you look at the whole world and you're looking at yourself individual. Therefore, how can you get better? What would you want in life? You would like to maximize whatever you call your utility, even at the expense of others, correct? Because suppose you're in a job, okay? And now, how many CEOs does the company have? Generally one, okay? Sometimes multiple, but generally one. Now you're one of the people who are, in the race. How many people can become CEO? Only one. You have to compete. Is there a choice? So therefore, how will you maximize? Even at the cost of others, you have to maximize your benefit. Correct? And even though you want to maximize, the other fellow is not sleeping, okay? He or she is also trying to maximize their benefit. Correct? What decides whether you win the race or somebody else wins the race? Is it just your ability? Normally, we won't agree to that. Right? Is it just your ability? Is it the people around their abilities? Just comparison? Is it your relationship with your board? Is it the environment in which you're operating? Is it your education? What is it? Is it your attitude to people? Is it your nationality? Is it your gender? Which one? Which are all, Swamiji, all these are factors. Finally, what clinches it? What makes the difference between you becoming the CEO and you not becoming the CEO? What makes the difference? We don't know. But my goal is what? I started this company 35 years ago. And now I want to make it. Before I retire, I want to be CEO. All right, you made CEO. Then what? Will you retire tomorrow? No, no. Obviously, I have to do some work now. All right. Then what? Another 5 years, you are CEO. Then what? Do you have another goal or not? Now you want to be a member of the board. Okay, maybe you made it to the board. Now what? Board also the policy. At the age of 65, they retire you. You know what are you going to do after that? Now you will see, is there another bank that will take me as a board member? That's what you will do, right? You keep going from one thing to another. Do you say enough? Do you say you're done? This is professional life alone I've taken. Take your personal life. Do you have any goals? Yes. Is there an end point to them? Is there an end to your saying this is what I want? Forget even that. You just eat food. Is there an end to say when okay, today's food, there's nothing better than this is possible? Or you can always think of making it better. To this day, there are better toothbrushes coming or not? Toothbrush, okay? What is its job? To clean my teeth. How much improvement can be in a toothbrush? You're amazed. But you find still toothbrushes coming. Is there anything which you say has reached its end point? There is no more improvement possible. Any one area. So how are you going to say enough? Is there a possibility of saying enough? Is there a point where there is no more room for further improvement? If there is such a thing, that is when, if you reach there, you will say, done. Is there such a point where I will arrive, and from where I know nothing else matters anymore? A person climbs all the way to Mount Everest. Now he has scaled the biggest peaks, and he has scaled it from the most difficult path. Went through the South Fall or whatever, North Face. You have to go through a difficult route. I don't know why. Who are you proving yourself to? Except yourself, really. But there is a challenge. You have to swim across the English Channel. Hey, there are ships. Why do you have to swim across it? I want to go all around the world on a sailboat. Why? Why? And there are people who are You go and say, please sponsor me. And there are companies who will sponsor your whole round the world sailboat trip. For what? Because they also want some advertisement dollars to spend they have and they'll get something out of it. What else is there in it? But the question is, what is the purpose of all this? Whether you're climbing a mountain or you're swimming on the sea or you're making a glider, on the glider you're going all around the world, or you decided when we were kids, we would have this people who would come and say, youngsters who would say, I will be on a bicycle for 7 days a week. He doesn't get off his bicycle for 7 days, apparently. I don't know if it's true, but that's what we would believe. When you go there in the evening from school, he would be on the bike. He would never get off the bike, eating on the bike, standing on the bike, everything on the bike. And somebody else says, I will spend 45 days, 50 days with 50 poisonous snakes in a cage. And they do it. Why? Why? You see our human problem. Whatever you do, you still feel you're not good enough. You want something more to gain attention, perhaps, to make you feel you're the best. No, Bihar election. You have to break all records. The record, same chief ministers come back one more time. That will be an election record. Why shouldn't we record enough? Man is old enough. Why should he not go? But all I'm saying is, will he say enough? Will he say, okay, I have had enough. I won't fight for this position anymore? How often does it happen? So the question is, I'm not talking of one individual. This is a general thing we see in the universe, that people are always looking for something. Now, as a human being, when are you going to say, I'm satisfied with my life? My life purpose is served. Is there such a purpose? Which means when that purpose is served, you don't mind if the body drops next moment. It doesn't matter to you. Is there such a point? Or is there not? Do we know? And as I said to you, how much ever we know, do we know what is the purpose of life itself? We are born. We find ourselves with a body. Is that true or not? Did I create this body? No. Did my parents create this body? Not really. Ask the mother or the father, did you create? Did you know how to create? Okay, you know what? I have a subtle problem. When born itself, one eye was bad. Mother, why don't you fix it? You created it, fix it. No, we'll go to the hospital. For what? You don't know how to fix it. And the doctor says, let me look into it. Because he also doesn't know how to fix it. Unless he finds a problem which can be fixed. He is also looking for a solution within the known parameters. If there's a possibility, he will solve it. Right? So who created the body? No, it just happens. Can things just happen? Suppose I say my laptop just happened. Will you agree with that? I was sitting here and out of my table, laptop grew out. And I'm using it. That's how I'm doing my Zoom session with you. Will you believe that? No. Why not? If a baby can come from nowhere, why not a laptop also come from nowhere? Which is more complex, baby or laptop? So the point is, everything that comes, first we have to understand there is a cause for everything. If there is a cause for the human body, what is it? If there's a cause for life, why should the human body come? Okay, there's a cause for the human body, but why is the body created to start with? Why is there life? All these questions we don't have answers for. But we all want to be comfortable and we try to muddle through. Correct? Now, the Veda or anyone can address whom. If I have to address somebody, who am I addressing right now? I'm addressing the audience in front of me. And the audience has a certain view of themselves. Right? I cannot negate that view of yourself right away. The Veda also has an audience to address. And the audience is the human race. And the human race is addressed. You take yourself to human being, okay. You think you want to get to a better place. You want to be at the right place at the right time. This life you didn't get born in the right family. You can't be a business tycoon. But you want to be, okay. Next life, maybe you can be born in the right place at the right time. If you're born in America now, it's the wrong place, maybe at the right time. Wrong time at the right place, perhaps. Born in India now, maybe better. Born in China now, maybe very good. But 100 years ago, born in China may not have been good. What is the right place and right time? How do you know? How do you know when to be born? To which parents to be born? These are all impossible targets to have. But then the Veda, which is a means of knowledge, tells you, I will tell you some things. Whenever you do an action, there's an outcome. You know that. You throw a ball up, it comes down. That's the outcome. But then there is something more. There is an unseen outcome to actions also, to certain actions. And those unseen outcomes are called adrishta. Is there a way you can prove it by perception? No. All right? This is what the Veda has to say. Now, to put in a very brief way, the Veda says, look, if there are three lifestyles the Veda talks about, okay, three possibilities, let me put it that way. It says, one, you recognize all that is here is Ishvara. And you live in that recognition. If you say all that is here is Ishvara, see, it sounds very simple in a way. When I say all the ornaments are but gold, you understand I can count one gold and all ornaments are included. Correct? You can't count 1, 2, 3, 4, four ornaments, fifth one gold. You can't count. You have to count either four ornaments or one gold. You can count one gold when you know one gold. You can't count one gold unless you know gold. If I keep telling you all these are gold, if you don't know, it will just be a parrot statement. All this is Ishvara. All this is Ishvara. Do you know what is that Ishvara? Which means you have to clearly see everything as that. Just like you see every ornament as gold. Can you see everything as Ishvara? Swamiji, forget everything. Even one thing I can't see is Ishvara. That's the reality. You say all knowledge, I don't understand what it means. I don't even know what is 2 plus 5. Where is the question of all knowledge? Can't understand. Right? So, one Veda says, if you know all that is here is Ishvara, if your vision is all that is here is Ishvara, you are free here and now. Because there is only one reality and you are that. It's done. All right? The second possibility is that you are trying, you accept an Ishvara. You accept there is a unifying. See, Ishvara, I'm using a word, okay? You could say there's a power. There's a power, and that power controls everything or manages everything. You could say an unseen force, power, force. You can use all these words because what do you accept? What is even science trying to find? What makes everything happen? Fundamental research is about what makes everything happen the way it does. When you find something happening, you again have to find why that is happening that way. So Einstein, though he gave the theory of relativity, apparently also spoke of what? He said there would be a theory which will unify everything, which would see everything in one harmonious whole. And the Veda says, if you know that one factor, that one reality, which pervades everything, sustains everything, is in the form of everything, then you don't stand apart from it. You are that reality. And if that is what you are, you made it in life. Okay? This is one possibility. The second possibility is you accept there must be Ishvara, you don't know. But now the point is, if See, when can a person hang his boots, so to say? Give up. I mean, stop doing anything for the sake of getting better. When he feels there is no more a room for getting better. Correct. So we say, Atmani eva atmana tushtaha. A person who is satisfied by himself without depending on any other factor. If a person is totally satisfied being himself, not depending on any factor means what? Not depending on the body being healthy, even. Not depending on the mind being calm. Not being on the world aligning itself. Not depending on the weather. Not depending on your nationality or the passports you carry. Not dependent on your children, how they are doing. Not dependent on how the weather is. Not dependent on anything means not dependent on anything. Why are you happy? Why should I not be happy? That is called Atmanieva Atmana Tushtaha. This person is a possibility in the Vedas view, right? But if you are that person, then what are you? You're a person who wants nothing to be different. You're a person who wants nothing to be different. Suppose you're not that person, where will you be? Where will we be? I want something to be different. For me to be okay, I want something to be different. Correct? Which means I have a desire for something to be different. If you have a desire for something to be different, if you just desire and your desire gets fulfilled, wonderful, then you don't need anything more in life. You just desire for a thing and you get it. Does it work that way? No. When you desire, what do? You have to work for it. You do something to make your desire actualized. Even if you think Santa Claus will give you something, this is the kind of myth people are taught. Your children are asked, you write a letter to Santa. What do you write? I want a bicycle. Another child writes, I want the latest, Xbox game, whatever. He wants some game, he wants some Sony game, he wants. Then Santa delivers it to him. You know how it works. Somebody collects these stupid letters and then gives it some donors who have money to spend, and then they say, okay, now we'll make the children happy. Nothing wrong with that, okay? But all I'm saying is, even if a child can make a wish, it has to write one letter. If it doesn't write a letter, it won't get anything. Right? If you have a wish, you have to do something. All I'm saying is, otherwise, if wishes were horses, beggars would ride. No, you don't need to do anything more. So when you wish, you want to do something about it. Correct? How will you do? Your capacity is limited. Your powers are limited. Your resources are limited. Your lifespan is limited. And you know what? What you wish for today is not necessarily what you wish tomorrow. Today you wish for something. You wish for a particular position in your company. You got it. One day later, you'll be saying, what? Why did I ask for this position? Because it only give you a bigger headache. Do you know what you're looking for even? How do you even know what to ask for? Yet, we do have aspirations. We do work for them. Right? Veda says, look, if you want to get something, you recognize one thing first. You recognize there is something which is accountable for everything that happens. You acknowledge the presence of Ishvara. Okay? You acknowledge the presence of Ishvara, and there is your will, your effort also is in place. Right? You keep Ishvara in view and you do what you can do, and maybe you will keep going places. All right? Now, within the acknowledgement of Ishvara, there are two possibilities. You understand Ishvara to some extent, or you want to understand Ishvara, and the other one is you don't know what it's all about, but you just believe there's one Ishvara. The normal religion is you have a belief. There is Ishvara. And if I do something, I will get some goodies from him. Right? So you keep doing something nice, you will keep getting something nice. Do we know any better than that? You know? A religious life is what? You believe there is God. I told you, God is really not a matter for belief. But you believe there is God, and you do certain things, and you will get something from it. Right? But the fact is, now we are saying the Vedic vision is, look, if you do certain things in a way we are told to do, if you live a life of values, then certain wishes that you make can get fulfilled. You want a better life, you're struggling to get a permanent residence in a foreign country. Forget it. You'll be born in a foreign country next life. Or even better, you'll be born in heaven, okay? Don't worry about it here. Why look for this America, Australia? These are all, they're cycles. Now America is on the downhill trend. And you don't know if it will go to China, whether China will remain the same or something will happen, you don't know. Why fight for all this? I'll tell you, you go to heaven straight. And you can do something about it. Do this, you can go to heaven. But you know what? Even if you go to heaven, is it permanent? There is no permanent residence in heaven, okay? In fact, there is no permanent residence anywhere. Wherever you go, the body has a lifetime and then it drops. So Veda says, wherever you go, you will come back. You make some money, you spend it, you come back. Make some more money, spend it, come back. When can you enjoy? When you have money to enjoy. Money enjoyment, money is not just currency, money is punya, adrishta phala. You do some good things, you collect more currency. The more you collect, the more you can have fun. Okay? There was a king called Yayati. A story. He had, he found one life is not enough for him to enjoy all the things he wanted to enjoy. So he borrowed life from his son and said, give me your youth. I want to enjoy life for some more time. The condition is he can borrow the youth, but the son will lose that. He will have to exchange old age for youth. So he takes the youth, enjoys life. At the end of it, he comes back and gives back, the life to the son and exchanges the old age back from him. And that time he says one thing, you know what? Any number of desires I fulfill, I still don't get fulfilled. Na jatu kamaha kamanam upahogena shamyati. Never can you say enough by experiencing every object of experience you want to experience. Any amount of pleasures you enjoy, you will always want something more. There is no end to this. Even if you go to heaven, you will come back. There is no real end. You are on a treadmill. You keep running, you really don't go anywhere, you stay where you are. It looks like you went somewhere, but you will come back to where you are. This is what the Veda has to say. How do you know? We don't know. This is all belief. At this point, it's all belief. Right? And then it says, but if you really want to grow to that first person who is satisfied being himself, herself, then you have to live a different life, a different kind of life. What is that? Not just believing in Ishvara and doing a few things to gain the results. You now try to know what that Ishvara is. You try to understand Ishvara because there are two things. When you want to gain something, the gaining of something is already centered on the notion that you don't have what you want to gain. Okay. If you want to gain what you don't have, then there is only one way. You have to work for it. Anything you don't have, you want to get, to create something which is not there right now, you have to do something. You want to have dinner tonight, there is no rice, you have to cook rice. Okay? You have to cook rice. But suppose you had enough rice left over from lunch and you didn't know. You don't have to cook rice. You can discover the fact that you already have rice. Mundane example, okay? But the fact is, if what you're looking for is something that is to be created, then work is the only way. Karma is the only way. But if what you're looking for is already a fact, then you only have to discover the fact that you already have what you're looking for. When you do some things to gain, the assumption is what I want is something that I have to gain. I'm separated from it in time. I'm separated from it in space. I'm separated in terms of capacities. By doing something, I will reach where I want to reach. If this is my belief, what am I going to say? This is who I am. I am this person. This person has to become fulfilled. You tell me, this person, if he gets fulfilled, how long will he be fulfilled for? If this person, this individual gets fulfilled, are you an individual when you become fulfilled or not? You are still an individual. Are there other individuals? There are. Are you still competing? Yes. Is this individual fixed in time and will never change? Are you aging? Yes. Are your capacities, your mental faculties, are they weakening in time as you age? May not be today. Swamiji, I'm still not at the peak of my career. I'm only 55, 60 right now. 65 is, you're the boss. This is not the right time to retire. Who says you should retire at 55, 60? 60 is the time when you're going to make it really big. Till now, you just made it to head of your department. You can become head of the company. This is the best time. In fact, right now you're making 4 lakhs a month. Hey, wait 2 more years, you'll make 10 lakhs a month. This is the right time, right? This is how you see it. This is your peak of your productivity. So what do? You continue. Keep continuing. Will there be a time it will keep growing? 10 lakhs, then 20 lakhs, then 20 crores. Will you keep growing like that? Or will it stop one day? It will stop. Yeah. So when it will stop is a question, but it will stop. So now, whatever you accomplish, you are aging. Your body is aging. Your mind is aging. You don't remember anything now. You don't even remember you were a CEO. At least till now you could sing your past glories. Now you can't even do that because that's all you're forgetting. What did you eat? Did I eat? That's your state. Right? Did I eat? Okay. What is your name? Today you remember. Maybe one day we don't even remember what your name is. I don't remember. What is life for? Is it all about aging? So whatever you accomplish, where do you leave it? Do you carry it with you? No, you don't. So how much will you accomplish? If the individuality is true, you remain individual. Even if you get a better opportunity in another life, you're born in heaven, you're still an individual. Here your problem is your neighbor has a bigger house than you. You have a plot of 10,000 square feet, your neighbor has 25,000 square feet yard. Enough to make you unhappy. You have an industry which is worth 10 billion, he has an empire which is worth 100 billion. What comparison is there in it? You go to heaven, what do you find? You have a big house, massive, very nice. Next door, who lives? Indra. Indra is the king of heaven, Again, you have a problem there. You are nobody. When Indra comes, everybody stands up. When you go, nobody cares for you. Still, you feel the same little fellow that you are on earth. No difference. You become, then you think you want to be Indra. When you're Indra, still, when Brihaspati comes, you have to get up. Guru, he comes up, you have to get up. Still, you have to give respect to somebody. Where do you end? So, if you are going to remain an individual, do you understand that whatever you accomplish, whether here or elsewhere, finally the position it will end. Anything which is accomplished will be lost in time. Anything which is a fruit, the action produces fruit, okay? Karma phalam, call it. Any fruit decays in time. Therefore, what is gained in time is always subject to being lost in time. Any gain, in fact, even as it's gained, it comes with an accompanying loss. You gained a powerful position in your work. You lost your leisure. True. You gain more money. You lose your sleep. It doesn't just come with nothing, okay? No, Swamiji, it just came for nothing. I had bought some stock and suddenly I find it so valuable. Once you found it's valuable, it will give you sleepless nights. Why? Because stock market falls, you'll go and look what happened to my position. It doesn't take long, okay, for you to feel small. So whatever is gained in time is lost in time. And every gain is accompanied by a loss. This is clean accounting entries. What you debit is exactly what you create, okay? You cannot have debit 100, credit 50. No. Debit 100, credit 100. Debit 5 million, debit 5 million. Whatever you gain, equally you will lose. If you bought a new Mercedes car, debit car, asset, credit, cash. Cash went away. It goes off. That much goes away. So the point is, how are you going to gain something where you don't lose something? So the Veda says, look, if as an individual, this is all you can do. You can keep running the rat race and be on the treadmill. It won't tell you you'll be on a treadmill. It'll say, you want this? Go take it. You want this? You go take it. See, the company will tell you, we have exciting positions for you, opportunities. It doesn't tell you what's the cost of it, right? You choose. Nobody will market something by telling you what are the cons for it. They will only tell you pros. Cons, you have to figure out. Correct? So you have all this. Now the point is, anything I gain is going to be lost. Why should I work? Finally, the question is whether you were an apprentice in the company, a management trainee, then you became a mid-level manager, then you became a senior manager, then you became a director. At every point, you were what? Dissatisfied, looking for something. At every level. You were a little boy or girl, you grew up to a young man, you got married, you are a father, you have children, you have grandchildren. At every point in your personal life, you are still wanting something to be different. True or not? In any aspect you take, you find that I am still wanting. And every attempt in life is what? I want to be free from that sense of want. Is it true or not? If what you want, if you can gain and be okay, we should have been okay once and for all. But the wants keep changing. And the wants are numberless, countless. Therefore, even if the Veda gives you extra means for gaining ends, gives you extra ends in the form of heaven, etc., gives you extra means in form of certain rituals or whatever, so that by doing that you can gain those ends. Still, after gaining all the ends that you aspire for today, what do you find out? There is still some more things which are yet to be aspired by you, right? If a person is living in this life of gaining more and more, that life is within the realm of what we call as the karma kanda of the Veda, the first part of the Veda. Okay? Which means whatever you gain, you will still want to gain something more. The journey is not over. All right? And what is Vedanta? Vedanta is when you say, whatever I gain, I will remain a beggar. It's not a matter of, what I gain. Whatever I gain, I remain dissatisfied. And my joy does not really depend upon what I have gained. Because when I'm happy, have I gained everything I wanted to gain? Have I suddenly become youthful? No. Have I suddenly solved the problem of, a bad hearing in 1 year? No. Have I suddenly solved the problem that my neighbor is very noisy? No. What problems have you solved when you become happy? You see a child smiling and you become happy. What problem do you solve? So your child is doing very well, you're very happy. Till 10th, he did very well. Suddenly he goes down. What happens to you? You become unhappy. Why? Because your happiness depends on your son doing well. He doesn't do well, I'm not okay. Now your whole life is dependent on what that fellow does. If he changes, you're okay. If he doesn't change, you're not okay. Suppose he changes for the better. You start blooming. Your face starts to bloom now. I feel better. Right? Again, 12th standard he goes down. What are you going to do now? Or he did his best, but still, cut off. He didn't make it where you want to send him or where he wants to go. Where will you go? I'm saying whatever you do. All right, he did well. He went to med school. Will he get to MD seat? Next worry. He did MD. Did he take the right branch? You don't know. Which means my happiness has really got very little to do with what I think makes me happy. Then what is it that makes me tick? What is happiness? What is it I'm seeking in life? Can I be the person who is always comfortable, who says there's nothing more to be accomplished? This question, if a person asks, then we say, all your actions will not give you that kind of an achievement. Because even if you achieve it, that achievement will be short lived. Because you earned currency and every time you're going to be spending it. Therefore, there will be a point when you run out of your currency, karma currency, and you'll again be back to square one. Therefore, if at all there is something wherein you feel you're fulfilled and you will never become unfulfilled again, if there is something, it cannot be an achievement in time. It cannot be something that you gained with an effort, because anything which is gained can be lost. Anything which is reversed is not irreversible. Everything is reversible. May not be by you, but reversible. You gained a position, reversible. You gained money, reversible. You gained a relationship, reversible. You gained health, reversible. You got rid of a ill health, reversible. You managed to fight off cancer, it can come back. So what you get rid of, what you don't want, can come back to haunt you. And what you gain can leave you. So if you depend on anything other than yourself, you have to be connected to what you want. And that connection is too fragile. It can break anytime. How are you going to make sure the connection is always there? And the fellow who is connected, individual, are you going to live forever? And if you live forever, imagine how you would be. At 95, you're bent. At 105, where will you be? Bent a little more. Suppose you survived 150, where would you be? Swamiji would say, you're like this, then you become like this, then like this, then like this, then like this. You will become a snail-like position, You will be coiling around if you lived long enough. In the sense that you don't want to live forever, do you? Therefore, they have Kaya Kalpa. You do some oil massage and you retain your youth forever. Have you ever known anybody like that? Everything ends. Therefore, if you recognize the fellow who seeks permanency is impermanent, anything you gain is not permanent, then am I unrealistic? Can I never be comfortable all the time? Is it always going to be like that? Then there is no solution to the problem. If there is a solution, the solution cannot be something that you gain in time. If there is a solution, and the solution happens to be already you, then there's a possibility that you can, by discovering yourself, know the fact that you're already what you want to be. That is the subject matter of Vedanta. So, when does the door to Vedanta really open to us? When I'm able to close my eyes or show my back to the so-called world of opportunities to make me better. You understand? I'm not saying you drop anything in life, okay? All I'm saying is, if you think that by studying Vedanta, I will become better one day, think again. It is not going to make you better. It is going to show you, hey, idiot, you already were okay. You kept thinking you are not okay. That's your problem. It's a very different way of addressing the problem. Okay? It is not addressing a problem. It is negating a problem. There is a sea difference between a person who is pursuing things as an individual to become more significant and a person who is not running after anything. Suppose you say, okay, money doesn't make me satisfied. I will give up money. Hey, is it going to make you satisfied? Giving up money won't make you satisfied. Giving up your job won't make you satisfied. Hankering for it won't make you satisfied. What should I do? Doing anything won't make you better. But I have come to ask you, what should I do? Doing anything won't make you better. But yet you have to do something. Because you can't do without doing. Try not doing anything. Suppose you retired. You try being retired at home, just stay at home and see how it feels. Don't do anything. Forget retirement. Sit one day, sit 1 hour without doing anything. Don't think also, okay? Don't do anything. Can you do it? Sit 10 minutes. Don't do anything. Try. Only when you try, you will realize that it is easier said than done. You wish to not do anything, but really you always want to do something. That's how life is. Suppose you have a vacation. Do you plan your vacation or not? You are traveling 4 nights, 3 days. Thailand, Phuket, Bangkok, whatever, Chiang Mai, wherever you're going to all these places. What do? Do you just go there? You already plan. First day, second day, third day, this. Whole itinerary is very well packed. And you go, you finish, you come back, fifth day you're back in Mumbai, and you want one more vacation. Is that true or not? You want another vacation from that vacation now. But I'm saying, do you want something even from a vacation? Do you do something? Suppose you said, I went for a vacation. What do people ask you? What did you do? They want to know what did you do, right? So you always want to tell what you did. Oh, we went there, we went this, we did that. Oh, I just chilled out. What does it mean you chilled out? I just slept on the beach. I didn't do anything. You slept on the beach. That's doing, okay? Not that you didn't do. Suppose I pulled you out of the beach, you would be very unhappy, which means your satisfaction depends on your doing lying on the beach. Correct? So And can you lie on the beach forever? No. Firstly, your money will run out. More importantly, even if you were allowed to lie there forever, you will get tired. You enjoyed the great food. Oh, it was so good. Thai cuisine was so good. Can you eat that forever? That's also not true, right? So, what is it that you can do forever? What is it you can do forever? You enjoyed your ice cream. How many ice creams will you enjoy? Keep eating. Not possible. You enjoyed reading a good book. How long will you read it for? Keep reading it. You're tired, right? You're watching a beautiful river scenery. You're watching it. How long will you watch it for? Can you watch it for half an hour? 1 hour? 2 hours? I just have to increase the length, okay? Finally, you'll say what? When can I go back? You will get there or not. So I'm asking you, how long for anything? Anything which begins will end. Anything that begins has to end. Now the question is there something which doesn't begin and therefore will never end? And you happen to be that which doesn't begin and end. Is that a possibility? Now, you are not going to ask, what should I do? You will say, how do I discover that me? You're not trying to change the world around you. You're not trying to set up the things around you to suit your fancies. You're trying to re-mint your identity. You're trying to recognize, and it's only possible if your current identity is not true. If your identity is true, you cannot knock it off. You cannot knock off what is already true. What can be knocked out? Only a wrong notion, an erroneous notion can be knocked out. Look at this. Anything in the world, how do you know? How do you know? Anything in the world. You're seeing my face. How do you know? How do you know my face is? You see it. Correct? You hear us. You hear some sound. How do you know? I hear it. I perceive it, therefore it is. You perceive a smell, therefore it is. You perceive a taste, therefore it is. You experience certain emotions, therefore the emotion is. I ask you, how do you know you are there? How do you know you are? What do you see? Do you see something? Do you have to see something to say you are? Do you have to see something? Do you have to be a seer to know you are? Your eyes should be open? No. Should you be tasting something to know you are? No. Should you be thinking to know you are? No. Should you have certain emotions to know you are? No. How do you know you are? How do you know? Okay. Whatever you describe as your biography, you imagine your biography, okay? And tell me, is any of it other than what you have seen? You write your biography, okay? Take 10 days to write if you want. Finally, you tell me, what will you write? Can you write what didn't occur to your head, in your head? Okay. So everything you're talking about yourself is what you see happening in your mind. Is that true? Is what is happening in your mind you or not? Okay. If what is happening in your mind is not you, what are you? How are you going to know? Can you perceive yourself? Body you perceive, mind you perceive, senses you perceive, world you perceive. Who are you? Do you perceive yourself? Much less do you infer yourself. Swamiji, I'm hearing you, therefore I think I must be there. Like, I see smoke, therefore there must be fire. Since I'm hearing you, I must be there. Another fellow says, Swamiji, I'm married, I have two children, therefore I must be there. Inference. Is that how it is? If I was not there, who would have married me? That's not how you know you are. How do you know you are? How do you know? If you don't know, even if you can't perceive yourself, how will you describe yourself to me? I want to know you better. Please, please introduce yourself. How are you going to introduce yourself? I'm a woman. Hey, you're looking at your body, correct? And secondly, you should know now that now we're in a different age. You know, what is the age? You have to have a gender identity. You should see, am I really a man or a woman? And then if you feel, you should have the woke culture, right? So you should know, man or woman. I don't think I feel like a man. I want to be a woman. So you go get your gender change. Now are you man or woman? Now I'm woman, which means you are neither man nor woman, okay? Because both genders can change. All right. What is your identity? This body is you? Which one? When it was born and weighing 9 pounds, or now when it's weighing 190 pounds? Which one is you? Mind is you. Which mode is you? Good mood or bad mood? And what when you're asleep? Who is there to take charge of it? You tell me, do you have any clue? Do we have a clue about who we are? You have a clue about the whole world. Do we have a clue about who we are? We are doing a lot of things. Who is doing? You are doing? Okay. You are a seer or not right now? You are a seer, you're seeing me. Okay. Close your eyes. What happened to the seer? Vanished. You are there or not? You are there not being a seer. You are there not being a hearer. You are there not being an experiencer. You tell me, who are you? Then we will solve your problem. You want to be happy. Who wants to be happy? You first tell me, who are you? You want to be happy means there is unhappiness right now. You want to become more significant means you feel insignificant right now. Where is the feeling of insignificance? Are you objectifying it or not? Whatever you objectify, was it forever or does it begin and end? Any thought, whatever you objectify is finally what comes to you through a thought frame. Any thought, does it have a beginning? Does it have an end? How long does any thought last for? How long? 1 minute? Forget it. 1 second? No. Microseconds. Swami, but I'm seeing you for so long. Same thought repeated, okay? Not one thought. Because you're seeing the same thought, there's a sense of continuity. But how many thoughts? See, if there was only one thought, okay, then you're stuck with it. Another thing comes, you won't recognize it. You're looking at me. If your doorbell rings, you won't know somebody rang the doorbell because only one thought. It doesn't work that way. You're on the road. You're driving. Now you saw a tree. Tree is stuck. Another car is coming in front. You won't see it. Therefore, how long is a thought for? Moment. Is a thought seen by you or not? When a thought came, were you there or not? When a thought went, were you there or not? Are you the thought? Did you go away? No. What are you? You are. But what are you? Who are you? I don't know. Can you know? Can you know? How will I describe you to you? Anything I described has to be known through, becomes evident to you. It is only through a thought. And any thought is known to you. You are not the thought or the content of a thought. Is that true or not? Now you tell me, do I know myself? If I don't know myself, whose problem am I trying to solve? Who has a problem? If you go to Ramana Maharshi, he will ask you, who has the problem? I have a problem. Which I? Which I has a problem? You're objectifying a problem, which means it's not you. No, no, I have the problem. It's like, I have a phone and the phone has a color. If that is true, then I will ask you, what is the holder of the problem? The mind. The mind also comes and goes. Then what is you? Without knowing you, how do you know the world? Who knows the world? Look, when we pull the rug from under the feet, nothing stands. Because everything you know is centered on I. And that I itself you don't know. Then what do you really know? What do we really know? If this question pops up in my mind, and then I'm shown, look, everything is evident to you. You are evident to yourself. Not through a process of knowing, but just being. All right. And everything that is evident to you has a cause. Yes or no? Everything that you see in the universe has a cause. Yes or no? If somebody disagrees, I want to know. I will prove. Because if something doesn't have a cause, it can be, it cannot be. There is no order. There is no order. If something has no cause, what you call luck really is not luck. Because something has no cause, you can say, I don't know the cause. That's perfectly all right. I don't know why I was born as a man. Perfectly all right. But there is no reason why I'm born as a man. No. If there was no reason for you to be born, you wouldn't be born. There is a reason. And there is a reason why you are a man or a woman, biologically, to start with. Right? There is a reason why your eyes are the way they are. You can call it genetics. But there is a reason why the genes are the way they are. Because your grandparents were that way. There is a reason why they were the way they were. You keep going back for every single thing, there must be a reason. And all these reasons are apparent to you. All right? Now, if there is everything in the world depends on something else. A depends on B depends on C depends on D depends on E depends on F. You will finish all the alphabet in all the languages, but still the dependency chain won't end. So what you see, which looks solid, is all gooey stuff, which depends on something else. And what you are, you don't know. Whole world that you see is not, see, look, if everything depends on something else, until the last chain dependency is there, a thing cannot exist. Do you understand what I'm saying? I like to give this example. No? In the room, there are 50 people, and I want 10,000 rupees. I don't have. I go and ask one person. He doesn't have. He looks to borrow from the next person. She doesn't have. She looks to borrow from the next person. He doesn't have. You keep going. Suppose nobody in the room had 10,000 rupees. Will I get 10,000 rupees? Suppose I have 10,000 rupees finally. What does it show? I did get 10,000 rupees from somewhere. Correct? Which means somewhere there is a source of 10,000 rupees. Same way, your shirt depends on fabric. Your fabric depends on yarn. Yarn depends on threads. Threads depend on cotton fiber. If cotton were not there, will you have a shirt? You won't. Cotton depends on a plant. If the plant was not there, will you have a shirt? No. The plant depends on earth. If the earth was not there, will you have a shirt? No. The earth depends on the sun. If the sun was not there, will you have earth? No. So therefore, if the earth is there, the plant is there, the t-shirt is there, everything is there, which means the truth, the cause of all that must be there. And that cannot be something which has another cause. There must be an uncaused cause. There must be. Otherwise, it's impossible to have anything in the universe. And you don't know who you are. But you know you are not a because. You don't depend on anything. And Veda is doing a great matchmaking job. It says, here's one fellow, okay, who is sitting here, you don't know who you are, and then there is whole world, you don't know where it came from. And it marries the two and tells you, you know what, you are married in heaven. All right? All these names and forms in the entire universe, including the galaxies and stars, are all dependent on something which is an independent reality. And that independent reality is not something which will become known, because it is that independent reality in whose presence everything comes to light. Just like everything becomes evident to you, you don't become evident to anything. Your body becomes evident. You don't become evident to anything. You are self-evident. A self-evident, self-existent reality that you are alone is manifest as all that is. Therefore, that Ishvara which we presented, Jagat Karanam, is not really other than you, the real you. This is Vedanta. This is called Vedanta. It is not that you gain something, you just recognize the truth for what it is. And that, when a person says there is no way to solve the problem relatively by doing and gaining, and I recognize all my attempts in life have been to become a person who is happy, comfortable, significant. And it's impossible I will ever be significant all the while. I get a break from my attempts every now and then. That is what I call happiness or relaxation. And whenever the break ends, I am again on the treadmill. This is what I have been doing. And is there a way out where I don't have to keep running to stay where I am? I see no point in running after things in the world because they will still leave me unsatisfied. Why should I work hard and be unsatisfied? Why not I just relax and be unsatisfied? But I can't relax and be unsatisfied. I want to work hard and be unsatisfied. Then keep doing it. So this Vedanta is therefore when a person recognizes the futility of all pursuits with respect to finding oneself totally comfortable, then alone you look for a solution outside the box. And that solution is not available in the world, but it's available as Shastra Pramanam. So that part of the Veda, the last part of the Veda, wherein you have done everything with the five means of knowledge you had, plus Veda, you used all the prayers, the rituals, everything to gain ends, more means you got, and still you know what? I told you, when you went to heaven, you realize Indra is bigger than you. You say there's no end to this rat race. I stop wanting to be a rat. Then Shastra will say, okay, come here. I have something to say to you. Is there a problem solution? Yes, there is. What is the solution? You are the solution. How can I be the solution? Because you don't think you are the problem. If you understand, you are the solution. This is what Vedanta is about. Therefore, the entire text of Vedanta, Vivek Chudamani, will begin by assuming you understand this whole life of things you want are not going to lead you to a total satisfaction ever. But we are all in the process. We all have life and we depend on so many things. And many of us come to Vedanta trying to solve the problems of life through one more study. So we have to look at it as to how living a life. I told you, I said there are three possibilities. I didn't really discuss them all yet. We will discuss them next time. But in brief, one is you know you're free. One, you're trying to know you're free. And the third is you are just going hither thither like a, you know, like a person who has no sense of direction. You have a choice. What a choice, You can live with a sense of no direction, or you can live with a sense of direction and you can have accomplished what you wanted, which is really just knowing who you are. These are the three possibilities, three options. We will explore this a little further and then we will enter the subject matter. Okay? Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Any questions? You can raise your hand on Zoom. No question is a wrong question or a bad question, okay? Feel free enough. Okay. Yes, Mr. Dhiraj.
Yeah, Namaste Swamiji.
Namaste.
So my question is that, like, since you mentioned that, like, after knowing our true nature, then basically, once we realize that, we are not limited. Okay, maybe you will probably get to it later, but as they say in Vedanta that, once we realize our true nature as Brahman, then we lose the quest or the desire to gain anything more, because we learn that we were always that that thing which has already uh, which is already everything, so we don't need anything. But like, typically, how long do you think this process can take? Like, is it several janmas? Like, how long will it take? Like, can we get it in this lifetime or not?
Okay. Here's the part, okay?
Hmm.
Huh? This part is asking me, how long will it take for me to become clay? What should I tell him?
It is already the clay.
So how long will it take?
No, but we don't realize it now. So to be
So,
able
so the
to
point is
realize
what? How
that.
long? Depends on what?
Hmm.
Depends on when do you recognize the truth. There's no real time involved because you're already what you want to be.
Hmm.
This question, how long, is coming from a person who thinks time has a reality and I am in time.
Hmm.
But you know what you will discover? You are not in.
Time is within us.
You are not born. If you are born, you will die. Whatever
Hmm.
begins in time will end in time.
Hmm.
So this question, how long? Suppose I said it takes one lifetime. What will you do? Suppose it takes 10. What will you do? What difference will it make to you?
Hmm.
Does it make a difference? Suppose you're told it'll take 100 lifetimes to get here. Like they will tell you in Buddhism, they will tell you it'll take as many lives as the number of leaves on the tree. You count them.
Hmm.
Still, the people will go. Why? Because the number of leaves on the tree are still finite, okay?
Hmm.
Point is this. Look, how long does it take to understand anything? That much alone is the distance between you and what you want to be. So there is no fixed answer. Cannot be. So
Ah.
suppose there's a child who comes to you, right, and says, teach me addition and subtraction. And it says, how long will it take for me to master addition and subtraction? What's the answer you will give?
Depending on the age of the child, like if he
Yeah,
is 5 years,
all
then
right.
maybe 6 months.
Okay. Will all children get it in the same time? There may be one who will never get it, okay?
Hmm. But
Right?
maybe we can say like 6 months plus
So,
minus.
so what I'm saying is
Um,
you're putting heuristics there because you have experienced something like that. But I'm telling you, you never had a see there something had to be accomplished. Here, nothing has to be accomplished really. You're already what you want to be. So the question, if I answer it, it means there's a becoming involved. There's a time gap involved. But what the fact is, you were already free. Not even you are. You were free. You are free. You can never be anything but free. Then what will you ask about time? Okay. So there is no answer to that question, how long. If I want to give an answer, I can say, okay, whenever you understand, you'll be free. Whether it's one life or 10, I don't know. Okay. All right. Any other questions? There's one question I have in the mail. I'll take that up. Meanwhile, if you have other questions, you're welcome to think about them. I will answer them. So let me see now. Where's my share? Just give me a second. I'll share the right screen. It's saying the. Do you see the question?
Yes,
Okay.
Swamiji.
Okay. Yeah. So the person is asking a question based on Gita. Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharmat swanashtitat swadharme nidhanam shreyaha paradharmo bhayavaha. Third chapter, 35th verse. This states that one has to do swadharma, and even if swadharma is not satisfactorily done, it is better than doing paradharma and getting papam. Question now. If a Brahmana chooses to join the armed forces for the love of the country, will he get papam? As he is not doing his swadharma or punyam because he is serving his country, we can assume he is not giving his time for sandhya vandanam also. The question clear? The question is a modern question, okay? Question is being asked in today's context. A Brahmana has joined the armed forces. Is he doing punya or papa? You know what? Please understand. Don't be hungover with this idea that Brahmana has niyata karma today. That era has gone. Now, a Brahmana is only a relic, really, in a sense. All right? Yes, we identify ourselves with based on our ancestry, and we say this is my varna. All right? But in today's world, what is a Brahmana karma if you ask? Brahmana karma is supposed to be yagyam, to do yajna, yajanam, make others do yajnas. Then he has to do swadhyaya, study his own Veda Shakha. Then he can be a teacher, right? These are his jobs. And how should he live? Based on what people give him. Okay? How will you live? How will you tell your son or daughter to live like that today? Okay, you know what? You just live, you learn some Veda, you do Sandhyavanam 3 times. You will do Sandhyavanam 3 times, you may not even get your food. So there is no basis to now to say this is your karma. All right? So you have to understand Swakarma in a different way now. Swadharme nidham shreya is true. But if you take Swadharma based on Varnashrama, you're in trouble. At least Brahmana, you're okay. You tell somebody who is not Brahmana, who is a Vaishya or a Shudra, and tell him your karma is only what was defined for you. What will he tell you now? He will take you to court, okay? He will tell you this you are all guys who are messing around in my life. Why? Because that whole Varna Ashrama system had to be protected by the king. Vedic Dharma was the Dharma of the land. The law of the country was not some Indian constitution, secular. The law of the law was Manudharma, Manusmriti, Dharma, Hindu, Sanatana Dharma. And that Dharma, the guardian of the Dharma is the ruler of the country. And therefore, a Brahmana could live with that lifestyle. And the community supported him. In a village, the Brahmana had his place. Therefore, with that whole system having deteriorated over time, today you don't have the Varnashrama system in operation. Therefore, it is better to understand this swakarma in terms of what is it that you think you should do right now in your life. How to select one's karma, the basis should be not what you do, but how you do. The attitude, the attitude with which I do something is more important for my spiritual growth than what I do. Whether you are a Brahmana or a Kshatriya or a Vaishya or a Shudra, everybody would grow spiritually if they did what they were supposed to do properly with the right attitude. Therefore, you are never denied spiritual growth based on what you did. Your spiritual growth depends upon your attitude to doing. How you do, with what attitude you do, how you look upon your duty as an offering to Ishvara. That is what will make the difference. So therefore, if he joined armed forces, don't worry about his punyam papam. You assume he will do his swadharma. He has joined the army, he must take care of the country. Whatever role he is given, he has to do. And that if he does well, it is punyam only, no papa involved. The Sandhya Vandanam, etc., if he finds time, he will do. If he has a value, he will do later maybe. There are people I know who are in the armed forces who did Sandhya Vandanam regularly. Okay? To the day of their retirement. So they will do. So that's possible. All right? Again, Sandhya Vandanam is a Vedic karma. And today, if you don't even get introduced to what is Sandhya Vandanam, how will you do? The point is, for that to happen, they must understand the value of the karma. There must be meaning to it. Therefore, don't worry about it. Don't nag your son. If he or she, is joined armed forces, let them do what they're doing happily and let them do it well. That will bless them. Okay? Any other question? Done? Okay. There are no questions. We will stop the recording.